Welcome to the installation tutorial of the Haven Gen 4 lock. Define which configuration matches your install location. This is the Outswing installation tutorial. If your door is an in-swing door, please watch the in-swing installation tutorial video instead. First, we will unpack the contents of the box. Set the insert aside and remove the first layer of packaging to unveil the product. This is the lock, and this is the latch. These are the mounting screws you'll need to secure the lock and latch brackets to your door and door frame, along with a screwdriver for other hardware. This bag contains an alignment tool and VHB strips to aid with mounting. Here is your control board. And this is your wiring harness and ribbon cables. Here is everything that comes in the box. These are the additional tools you will need. You can use the insert as a part reference throughout the install process if needed. Alternatively, you can access written instructions by following this QR code. First, we'll need to disassemble the lock. Remove the lock cover screws and lock cover. Next, remove the lock mechanism screws and lock mechanism. This is the control board mounting clip and screw. And this is the door controller mounting clip and screw. Set them all to the side for now. Next, we'll begin the installation process. First, fold 4 sheets of copy paper in half to act as a shim. Position the paper shim between your lock bracket and door, and slide the bracket up to the door frame. Ensure the lock bracket is at least 4 inches away from the inside of the door frame to allow enough room to complete later steps. Mark the location of your Ethernet hole, then drill out the hole. Next, clean and prep the top surface of the lock bracket for VHB tape application. Apply VHB tape to the top face of the lock bracket. Then remove the backing paper. Place the paper shim between the door and lock bracket again, then align with the Ethernet hole mark and slide the bracket up into place. Apply pressure to the bracket to adhere. Note the location of the mounting screw holes. Next, drive 4 mounting screws directly into the door frame, through the mounting holes in the lock bracket. Open and close the door to ensure the door does not come into contact with the back face of the lock bracket. Reinstall the door controller mounting clip and control board mounting clip to the lock bracket. Now we'll disassemble the latch. Loosen the 2 captured screws on the bottom of the latch cover. Detach latch bracket 2 from latch bracket 1 by removing the 3 screws at the bottom of latch bracket 1. Note that latch bracket 2 will only be used in the Outswing configuration. Clean and prep the back surface of latch bracket 1 for VHB tape. Apply VHB to the back face of latch bracket 1 and remove the backing. Take your alignment tool and insert the grooves of the tool into the grooves on the lock bracket. Note the tab position. Position your latch bracket against the alignment tool so that the grooves along the bottom of the tool engage the grooves in the latch bracket. Now that everything is lined up properly, slide the latch bracket back to the door and apply pressure to adhere. Note the location of the mounting screw holes. Drive 4 mounting screws directly into the door through the mounting holes in the latch bracket. Next, connect the 2 ribbon cables to the terminal blocks on the bottom right-hand side of the control board. The wider front panel cable should be on the left, and the narrower lock control cable should be on the right. Insert the top edge of the control board into the clip. Press down to snap into place, ensuring both clips engage the board. Now we'll do the same for the door controller board. Insert the bottom edge of the control board into the clip. Press up to snap into place, ensuring both clips engage the board. Now that the boards are in place, we will connect them. First, verify the harness wiring by comparing to the wiring diagram. Insert the largest terminal plug of the wiring harness into the bottom terminal block of the control board. Insert the remaining 3 terminal plugs into the terminal blocks along the top edge of the Mercury door controller, as shown in the wiring diagram. Run an Ethernet cable from your PoE Plus or PoE++ source through the hole in the lock bracket, then terminate the cable with an RJ45 connector. Plug the terminated Ethernet cable into the Ethernet port on the Mercury door controller. Now we'll install the lock mechanism. This is the latch position board. Note the location of the left connector. First, hold up the lock mechanism to the lock bracket, ensuring the mechanism is oriented so that the servo is on the left. Connect the free end of the narrower lock control ribbon cable to the left connector on the latch position board. Slide the lock mechanism up into the lock bracket as far as it will go. Use the included screwdriver to fasten one screw on either side of the lock bracket to secure the lock mechanism. First, remove the front panel board cover from the lock cover and set it aside for now. Next, pull the wiring harness power cable terminal connector from its block on the control board. Now we'll install the lock cover. This is the front panel board. Note the location of the left connector. First, hold up the lock cover to the lock bracket. Connect the free end of the wider front panel ribbon cable to the left connector on the front panel board. Then, reconnect the wiring harness power cable. Take a look at the front panel board and confirm the boot up sequence. The pulse LED should be blinking, and the power LED should remain solid. Once you have confirmed the boot up sequence, slide the lock cover over the lock bracket, taking care to tuck in any cables and avoid pinching. Insert one screw on either side of the lock cover to secure it to the lock bracket. Open the door slightly and slide latch bracket 2 onto the pins of latch bracket 1, using the center holes in each row. Next, fasten latch bracket 2 to latch bracket 1 by fastening 3 screws through the bottom of latch bracket 1. Slide the latch cover over the latch brackets and push it back against the door. Tighten the captured screws just enough to hold the cover in place. Then, slide the front portion of the latch cover out until the front face of the latch cover aligns visually with the front face of the lock cover. Once everything lines up, fasten the captured screws until tight. Now we'll test the DPS sensor. First, confirm that the DPS light is on when the door is open. Then, let the door close. Confirm that the DPS light is off when the door is closed. Now, we'll configure the lock from Alarm.com's backend. First, set input 1 to door contact sensor using the drop-down list. Next, set the input type to normally open, no end-of-line resistor, and the door held open event time to the number of seconds required. 5 or 6 seconds is usually sufficient. Ensure that the suppressed door forced open box is unchecked, and hit save to apply your changes. Next, set input 2 to Rex device 1 using the drop-down menu. Set the input type to normally closed, no end-of-line resistor, and ensure that the suppress Rex triggered door unlock box is unchecked. Hit save to apply your settings. Now we'll test the lock. First, ensure that the PIR sensor shutter is closed all the way. Now, unlock the lock from the Alarm.com app. Wave your hand in front of the lock to ensure that no motion is detected. The motion LED and Rex out LED should remain off. Lock the lock from the Alarm.com app. Then, slightly open the PIR sensor shutter and verify motion is now being detected by waving your hand in front of the lock again. When motion is detected, the motion LED and REX out LED should illuminate. Then, confirm that the lock relocks after the configured timeout. Next, remove the lock cover. If needed, rotate the PIR sensor to adjust the direction of the field of view. Then, tighten the PIR sensor screws until secure. Reinstall the lock cover and replace the front panel board cover to complete installation.